Hello students, today we are going to discuss the attribution theory of Harold Kelly. This is a part of organizational behavior subject. So let us discuss the attribution theory. Now, what is meant by attribution? First of all, we must understand that attribution basically means giving reason to something, right? So when we say we attribute this to something, or I attribute my success to the hard work put in by me, or I attribute my failure to the ill health and things like that. That means attribution basically means what? It means that we try to give reason to something, right? So attribution is giving reasons. Attribution theory relates to that only. So attribution theory is concerned with how ordinary people explain the causes of behavior and events, right? So whenever anything happens, then people try to explain why that happened, especially if it is to do with somebody's behavior. Somebody has scolded the other person badly, so people try to explain what is the reason for such kind of a behavior. Is this because of the person who's scolding, or is it because the other person, he must have done something so that he got the scolding? So such a thing. So attribution theory is basically it is like a type of explanation of why people are trying to explain the causes of behavior and how do they do it. So Harold Kelly is one of the attribution theory by Harold Kelly is one of the most popular ones. There are other attribution theories also. So now let us see what is there in Kelly's attribution theory. So according to Kelly, people act like scientists when they discover the causes of behavior. Now what does that mean? What is specific of a scientist? A scientist never believes in anything without having some kind of an evidence for that, or having a proof of that. So whenever people are trying to give reason to something, they also try to find out the evidences. So people say that behavior may be caused by either dispositional factor or situational factor. Now let us try to understand what is meant by this. Whenever somebody behaves in a particular way, so that behavior may be caused by a characteristic of that person himself, or it may be because of the situation. So the behavior may be caused by the characteristic of the person, his own personality, his traits. So that is known as dispositional factor. When the behavior is caused by the person because of the person's characteristics, it is known as dispositional factor, also known as the internal factor. So when the behavior is caused by something else, so something stimulated this person's behavior, so this will be called situational factor, also known as the external factor. So whenever any kind of a behavior is seen, and when people try to explain that behavior, they try to find out whether it is because of that person's behavior, the person's behavior is because of his own characteristics, or is it because of the external characteristics. So people look for evidences whenever they are trying to explain the behavior. They find out a few pointers here and there, and then they try to actually combine these different evidences in order to explain the behavior. So what are these evidences in the form of? They are in the form of these three basic concepts. One is consensus, and distinctiveness, and consistency. Let us try to understand these three terms in a better way. Now when we say consensus, it means what? It is the extent to which other people behave in the same way in a similar situation. Let's take an example. Suppose one person is watching a movie, right? So this person, let us take a fictitious name for this person. Let us call this person Ramesh. So Ramesh is watching a movie, and Ramesh is laughing a lot watching that movie. So the extent to which other person behave in the same way in a similar situation, consensus, what is meant in this situation? We are trying to explain the behavior of Ramesh, that he is laughing watching a movie, right? So if the other people also laugh when they are watching this movie, then the consensus is high. But if the other people are not laughing, only Ramesh is laughing, then consensus is low. So the extent to which other people behave in the same way in the similar situation is consensus. It will be high if the other people also behave in the same way. Now let us try to understand the next concept, distinctiveness. the extent to which the person behaves in the same way in similar situations. Now what does that mean? The same person, if he behaves in the same way in similar situations, then distinctiveness is low. His behavior is not very distinct in this particular situation. So let's think of an example for that. The same example, Ramesh is like right now Ramesh is watching a movie and he's laughing watching that movie. So if Ramesh laughs in like while watching the other movies also, then distinctiveness will not be high, right? That means it is something which is always happening with this person. So distinctiveness is low. His behavior is not distinct to this situation. So extent to which a person behaves in the same way in similar situations, if he is behaving in the same way, then distinctiveness is low. If he is behaving only in this particular situation in a different way, then distinctiveness is high. Let us talk about the next one, consistency. Consistency means the extent to which the person behaves like this every time the situation occurs. Now this means that the same situation, that means the same movie, whenever Ramesh watches this movie, he laughs. It's not that this time he's laughing, he laughs every time he watches this movie. So then the consistency is high. If this time he is laughing but not all the times he laughs, then consistency will be low. So I am sure you have understood these three concepts. Now let us try to connect these evidences, all these three. If consensus is high, consistency is high, and distinctiveness is high, that means all three things are high. Consensus high means that not only Ramesh, everybody who is watching the movie is laughing. So consensus is high, right? Consistency is high means whenever Ramesh is watching this movie, he is laughing. So consistency is also high. Distinctiveness is high means when Ramesh watches this movie, he laughs. It is not that for every movie he is laughing. So that means consensus is high, consistency is high, and distinctiveness is high. So in this case, what will happen? What is the reason for his laughter? It is external attribution or situational factor, which means what? It is the movie which is so humorous that Ramesh is laughing, right? So these three things all together, consensus high, high consistency, and high distinctiveness, means that it is not because of this person's characteristics, but it is because of the situational characteristics that this behavior is elicited. Now the next situation, let us try to understand. When consensus is low, that means it's only Ramesh who's laughing, the others are not laughing watching this movie. Consistency is high, that means Ramesh laughs whenever he watches this movie. And distinctiveness is low, that means he laughs watching every movie. It's not only for this movie that he's laughing. So in this situation, what is happening? It is the internal attribution. Ramesh is like that. He loves watching any movie, and he's a person who laughs at almost all movies. So this is because of his own characteristic. So this is what is meant by attribution theory, in which people try to explain the behavior in by way of these three concepts, putting together these evidences, connecting these evidences, and trying to give a reason. Thank you.